Hey guys, my name is Stephanie Chico, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my story and my journey as a coach and how I got started and where I am today, and talk a little bit about, my success along the way and just how I got here. It's been kind of a crazy ride and so life-changing, and I know that sounds so cliche, but it's true. Beachbody coaching has really just changed every little piece of my life. The way that I got started was one of my good friends that I met through baseball. My husband is a former baseball player. And so Brandy and I met while our husbands were playing together in Syracuse, New York. And it's so funny to look back on that time because she was actually the one to really introduce me to, home fitness. I just kind of assumed that you had to go to the gym. I had heard of things like P90X before, but I just had never started. And at that time, I was sort of right in the midst of having babies. So I had two kids back to back. They were 14 months apart. And at the time when I met Brandy, I had, pretty much done it all the wrong way, just crash dieted, and lost a lot of weight, not the healthy way. But when I met Brandy, I remember learning things like how to make mashed cauliflower instead of mashed potatoes. So she really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't know about. And we did P90X together in our living room, and that was really my first taste of it. And that was back in 2010. So fast forward to a couple years later when I had just had my third baby, and Brandy and I had stayed connected through the years, and she had just become a Beachbody coach herself. And at the time, she was brand new and wanted to start a challenge group, and I had just had our third baby within a 3-year time span of our first, and I was obviously just in desperate need of something. I needed to feel like myself again. I had just sort of, been very selfless with my body for 3 years in a row, and it was time to sort of reclaim what I felt that was mine. So I said, yes, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to do this thing. I ordered Shakeology. I started, doing the whole thing. At the time, my husband was still fighting for his baseball career. So, we were sort of going through a rough time, but didn't really know that was sort of the beginning of the end, what I like to call it. But thankfully, this challenge group gave me such an amazing outlet. I met so many people. It was so inspiring, so uplifting. I was seeing progress personally and with Shakeology and Insanity and Brazil Butt Lift and P90X, and I am sort of a program jumper. I lost 40 pounds. So I was feeling great, and brought all my friends over to this challenge group, and I just thought that this was the coolest thing ever, and referred all my friends to Brandy, and she had approached me a couple times about coaching, and I just thought, that is not for me. I had done things before, direct sales from home. I did jewelry and trunk shows and home parties, and I was terrible at that stuff, and I just thought, I didn't want to be the girl who was just trying to sell stuff on social media, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So I just kind of continued on with what I was doing, and I thought I was just happy kind of referring people to Brandy. So a couple months later, we had just pretty much hit rock bottom. My husband's baseball career had ended, and it was just a time in our life that we did not know what the future held. It was scary for us. We didn't know what was coming down the road for us. We had no college degrees. My husband had never had a real job in his life. I had gone from college student and nanny to baseball wife and stay-at-home mom. So to say that, life as we know it had changed in a very short time would be an understatement. It was very scary, very instant change in our lives, and we owned a home back in Florida, and we were maintaining this mortgage on that property, and we lived in Arizona at the time. Our house back in Florida we had put on the market about 6 months prior, and just was not selling, and we had to make the tough decision to walk away from it, and it was obviously hard for our pride, because just to have to, walk away from something that, first of all, held so many memories for us, but also it's just not something that anybody is proud of doing, but it was something that we had to do to survive because we were just dwindling down our savings account. And at that time, it was just super scary. We had to scrape together everything that we had and continue to live off of that because neither of us had any job experience or anything like that. So at that time, I went on a bunch of job interviews and, with my little to nothing on my resume, and it was sort of a joke. And obviously, nothing really came of that time, and I was frustrated that I was having to go on these job interviews, and I had been home for so long with my kids, and to have to think of leaving them for the first time ever. I hadn't ever missed a minute, and to have to think of leaving them for the first time in their lives just didn't sit right with me. And I just knew that something had to give, and I needed to do something really different, and I had to get creative, and it was my turn to step up, because my husband had really fought hard in his baseball career over the years, and he was a major league ball player, he was a minor league ball player. It was there was a lot of stress on his shoulders supporting a family of 5, and it was my turn, and I needed to let him kind of take a breather for a minute. So just all signs started pointing toward this Beachbody coaching thing. I was still doing the workouts. I was still in contact with Brandy, and it was pretty much one of the only things at that time in my life that was a positive force. And it was sort of that whisper that we get sometimes in those desperate moments, and it was definitely God telling me, this is what you need to do. And so that was the time when I called Brandy and I said, okay, I'm doing this. What do I do? I'm signing up right now. So I signed up that day, and I didn't really know what I was doing at all. I was sort of one of those people who, when I got started, I thought, okay, I'm just going to read the coach manual and I'm going to learn everything about coaching before I tell anybody what I'm doing, because I was very nervous. I didn't have a huge background in fitness. I was just a mom who had success with these products and these workouts, and I just, wanted to share with other people. And but I was nervous that I wouldn't be taken seriously, and that people would think that I was coming off as this overnight fitness guru, as we refer to them as sometimes. And so I wanted to ease in. But, just a couple string of events led me to just sort of go in full force. And a couple months later, I was a Diamond coach. To anybody who's watching who's not a Beachbody coach, that's pretty much the start of really, the building blocks of your team. And I was really proud of that achievement. And after coming to my first couple events as a Beachbody coach and coming to some of the functions that they put on, I felt it inside my bones that this was it. I had found the thing that I could really be good at. I was really passionate about. And it was just sort of all in type of thing. So I just realized I had this ability to really rescue my family and to really, really make this thing successful. And so I just kind of let that all fuel my fire. And my husband at the time, just to make ends meet, had taken a job in California. We were living in Arizona. He was working in California. And, he was doing this commute. He would sometimes be able to come home on the weekends, and it was very hard on our family, very hard on our marriage. And I had just really started to get my business going, but I told him, come home, we're just going to go all in. I need you here. I need help with these children. And it was time for me to just take it to the next level. And I knew I couldn't do that without his support. And he's always been very supportive of the business. He's really kind of my background right-hand man. He's very smart about placement and, just all of the ins and outs of the business. But anyway, he came home, and that was, the start of really just me going full force with the business. A year ago, I was a Diamond coach, maybe 1-star, 2-star qualifying. And this year, currently 6-star Diamond Elite, 7-star qualifying coach. And I took my business from, making a couple $100s a year ago a week to making a 6-figure income. and just in a matter of a year. And so it's been an incredible blessing. It's been quite a journey. And I just, I'm so thankful for the opportunity. And every day just gets better and better. It's just so much fun. And I'm blessed to be a part of it. And for anybody watching who has questions about coaching, please let me know. But for anybody watching who is a coach, I'm just so happy that you tuned in. And thanks for watching.